Our final challenge, data and statistics section of our review, is going to be on looking at tables. So in all of the problems, it's important for us to identify what the question's actually asking us. But it is especially important for us when we're working with tables, because sometimes there's missing information that we don't necessarily need in order to answer the question. Right? So in this question, it says Blake interviewed 24 students to see whether they collected sports cards and whether they participated in sports. The table below shows this data. Right? So they give you a table there. You can look and see how many students collect sports cards and participate in sports, how many collect sports cards but don't participate in sports, and so on. Right? The question's asking us how many of the students Blake interviewed participate in sports. Okay, so what we really need to think about is that really all I need to do to solve this question is to figure out the total number that would be in this second column. All right, so I need to figure out what 8 plus x would be. All right, so x is a missing value. All right, so there's a bunch of different ways that you could go about doing this, right? But what I usually suggest when you see these table type of problems is to, if you know the total number of people participating, is to put that total number down in the bottom corner. Because then what we can do is we can kind of section off all the other parts of our table, and then we can add up totals and see if that'll help us come up with anything. All right, so if we look back at our problem, they tell us that we need 24, or we have 24 total students. All right, so knowing that we have 24 total students, we're trying to find the total for the column that participates in sports. Let's see what other information I can find. So I'm going to add up the kids who do not participate in sports. All right, to do that, I'm going to take 3 plus 7 and get 10. All right, so right now I know that something plus 10 is going to give me 24. All right, so in this case, I can quickly solve the problem by taking 24 minus 10 and getting 14. All right, so 14 is our answer. Notice that in this case, even though there was an x there, I didn't even need to find it necessarily. Right? Like I said, there's other ways to solve the problem. So you could have potentially gone through a process to figure out what x was by adding up all the other numbers in the table and subtracting from 24. But in either way, you're going to come up with a total answer of 14 for this answer. Use this as an example and see if you can answer the next question, which will provide similar information, but will ask you for a different bit of information at the end.